This presentation will explain the guidelines and the process flow for data preprocessing and metadata extraction to be followed by the data partner. This diagram gives an overview of the process involved at the data partner's end and the CoConnect team to successfully convert the data into OMOP CDM by ensuring that the data is not accessed or manipulated by anyone except the data partner. More details on this diagram can be found in the Technical Onboarding Pack. This document provides detailed information of each step labeled on the diagram. The document can be accessed via the link mentioned on the slide. The first step of the data standardization is the preprocessing of the data by the data partner according to the guidelines provided by the CoConnect data team. This involves the restructuring of the data if needed. This step is very important because the CoConnect OMOP mapper and CoConnect tool can only process data in a certain format. Once the process is completed, the data partner will run an open source tool called Whiterabbit to generate the metadata extract. This metadata extract does not contain any data and only provides information about table names, field names, and field values frequency distribution. The preprocessing guidelines are provided to the data partner by the CoConnect data team. Main points of the guidelines are that there should be a separate demographics table. The date of birth and sex are the minimum requirements for this table. In case of multiple demographic records per person, only use the most recent record. For event tables, each table must have an event date and an associated event or events with that date. The date and number format must be as shown on the slide. This flow diagram gives an overview of the preprocessing and the metadata extraction process at the data partner's end. After the preprocessing of the primary data, there is a demographics table and an event table or tables. Each event table will have a person ID, an event date, and associated event or events with that date. The preprocessed data is then used as an input to the Whiterabbit application, which outputs a metadata extract, also called the scan report. This metadata extract is reviewed by the data partner and sent to the CoConnect data team. Let's assume the data partner's primary data is coming from a COVID-19 testing center, recording the COVID-19 test results, symptoms experienced on the same day, and some kind of demographic information. Each person is also requested to provide their vaccination status then or later in case they haven't been vaccinated by that point. This is a tabular representation of the data collected by the data partner as a result of the scenario discussed in the previous slide. After the preprocessing on the primary data, according to the guidelines provided by the CoConnect data team, the data partner has transformed the data into a demographics table and different event tables with a date and an associated event or events with that date. After the preprocessing, in order to create a metadata extract for the CoConnect team, the data partners will run Whiterabbit application on their data. This is the interface of the application. Whiterabbit application helps analyze the structure and contents of the database. It can take various data sources as input, such as CSV files, and databases such as MySQL, Oracle, etc. The application works offline and performs a scan of the source data to provide detailed information on the tables, fields, and field values. To start the metadata extraction process, you first need to go to the Location tab and select the data type. To demo this application, I'm using the CSV data files and have selected delimited text file as the data type and comma as the delimiter. But you can choose the appropriate data type from the drop-down and provide the relevant details such as server location, username, password, etc. Since I have the data in CSV format, I'll choose the working folder and test the connection to confirm the folder is accessible via the application. After selecting the data source, the next step is to scan the data. So click the Scan tab and select the tables that you wish to scan. You can also select the minimum cell count, maximum distinct values, and rows per table that you wish to scan. More details can be found on the link provided on the slide. After this, you can scan the tables and your metadata extract will be saved. You will get the message with the file location on the console.
This is the metadata extract file or scanned report generated as an output of the Whiterabbit application. It has two standard sheets, field overview, which gives information about the fields, and table overview, which gives information about the tables. In addition to this, we have sheets, each representing one table with field names, field values, and a field value frequency distribution. The data partners, after generating this file, must review it before sending it to the CoConnect team.
Most of the sensitive information is truncated while generating the scan report or metadata extract by adjusting the minimum cell count in the Whiterabbit application. For example, if the minimum cell count is 5, then any value with frequency below that will be truncated. However, if the data partner still finds something in the scan report that they consider sensitive, then they can remove it, but they need to ensure that the structure of the scan report remains intact. For example, here for demonstration, we kept the minimum cell count as 1, so it's showing person IDs and their values. If the data partner wishes to remove them, they can easily remove these values, but they need to ensure that they do not delete the whole column and only delete the values from this particular column. The same goes for the frequency and distribution column. If you wish to remove the values, you can, but make sure that the whole column remains intact in the scan report. This is how the metadata will look if the minimum cell count is 2. You can see all values with frequency of 1 got truncated. Data partner can adjust this with any value, say 100 or 1000, to truncate sensitive records, or as discussed earlier, can manually delete them from the file before sending it to the CoConnect data team.